Hey, this is Tom from Barebones, and you're watching Desert TV.
Hey, everybody, bring it in. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. Come on down the front for me. Bring it in nice and tight. Let's not make it awkward. Come on. Come on. There we go. What's up? We're a band called Barebones from Sydney. Thanks for coming out.
I'm Tiana, you're watching Desert TV, and I am here with JD and Tom from Bare Bones. Gentlemen, welcome to Desert TV.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Stoked to be here.
It's a little bit exciting because I know you're playing Mo's Desert Clubhouse right now, but I do believe this might be the Gold Coast debut for Bare Bones. Is this correct?
Certainly is. Yeah,
Welcome
absolutely.
to the Gold Coast.
Thank you.
About time.
It is. Yeah, 10 years. 10 years it's taken us to get here.
Yeah, I pretty much grew up here. So I came here like every school holidays for my entire childhood. So it feels like home. It's great.
Yeah, well, it's been a long time coming, but well worth the wait. Now, tell me, I know COVID, obviously, we've all been through it all. We've all thought about it, like no live shows, all of that. How does it feel to be on the road, going interstate? Because you're playing Mo's tonight. You've got Halloween Hysteria coming up as well. Like, what's the vibe like being able to hit the road officially?
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, we've really, really missed it. I guess like everyone has, but we've been fortunate enough to, I guess, like still like we haven't played zero shows, you know what I mean? Like it's been super limited, but we've been lucky enough to be able to play at home. And we did a festival up in the Hunter Valley a few weeks ago. So that was kind of cool. It was kind of like a test run to get back on the road properly. So that's a good way to ease back into it. But we're really excited to be back touring. It feels kind of like starting over again.
State lines.
Yeah.
Like that's probably the biggest thing for us, I reckon. And like even like we drove up as a band today and it was because we don't really see each other too much outside of the band, you know, at that stage where we kind of do our own thing. So it was really nice to just be like together, uninterrupted, 9 hours, like grilling each other. Like, what have you been doing?
Yeah, why didn't you call me?
Yeah, exactly. So it's really good, but super excited.
Yeah. Well, the exciting thing for you guys too, I mean, obviously touring aside, you've also got some new music out in the world. We've got House of Static, which followed up from Ivory Tusk. Now, I know with this one, I've read there's some Squid Game stuff going on and I have to put my hand up. I listened to it multiple times. I also believe there's a Fred Durst thing happening in this. Can you please elaborate? Because I could not pick it. I need help.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess it's kind of, I guess loosely based off Squid Game a little bit from the sense of like, I kind of just had this really random thought one day of like, imagine if like life was like a situation like Squid Game where you have these fucked up kind of like cult-like figures controlling you and your life's on the line. And yeah, I don't know. I was pretty high. I'm not gonna lie. And and it was just like this weird thing that I was thinking about. And then that sort of influenced the lyrics. And then the Fred Durst thing is, like I kind of ripped off a line out of a Limp Bizkit song. So
I couldn't pick it.
It was like, it's just a little like tip of the hat, I guess, to Limp Bizkit, who we all love. So.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you're going to divulge what the line was?
Right, yeah. So, sorry.
Well, what is it?
Our line is mouth writing checks that nobody can cash, and the Limp Bizkit line is your mouth's writing checks that your ass can't cash.
Yeah.
So
here we go. I've just outed myself as not being a diehard listener.
That's fine.
Welcome to Tom's world.
Yeah.
Now tell me, with the song too, like how much of that song was in the works pre all the craziness of the last few years? Like, are you guys just sitting on a bunch of new music and you've kind of held out?
Yeah.
We are. We're sitting on a lot, and we did a lot of writing. So Scott, the other guitarist, and myself sort of were just, during that lockdown period, we were just pumping out heaps of stuff, and Ivory Dust came from there. House of Static was sitting there from probably 2020 maybe?
Yeah.
2020? And yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff in there still going. We're sort of at that process now where we're looking at what we got, trying to come to a sort of cohesion of where we want to produce this EP and what we want to do with it and what songs are going to go on there. But yeah, it's like just pretty much we're just spilling everything in and just like writing, and then now we're refining back from there.
Yeah. And I guess something really interesting about you guys is COVID had its negatives, but you guys embraced the hurdle and turned it into something amazing by like going a little bit DIY with how you're making music.
100%. Yeah.
Is that something you always kind of thought you might want to do eventually and this just kind of forced your hand, or is it something that you think you might adapt moving forward?
Yeah. So it's actually kind of how we started out. So we're really fortunate in that our drummer Chris is an amazing engineer and producer, and he did our first 2 EPs, and the record, and the first full length album, of course, yeah. So we kind of moved away from working with him more to give, I guess, him the opportunity to just be the member in the band and not have to wear that producer hat at the same time. So that was really cool for him and for us to work with another producer. We worked with an old friend of ours, Stevie Knight, who's a really great producer as well. He did our last record, Rival Minds, and Avarice, which was kind of the first single that we did after Rival Minds. And it was awesome. It was great working with him. And then when COVID happened, I guess we were really fortunate in the sense that we could still record music. And these guys kind of got a little bit creative to where they were recording their guitar parts at home and then sending it over to Chris. So House of Static and Ivory Dusk were both recorded without us ever being in the same room at the same time. Yeah, so it was kind of cool. We all, I guess, got to hear each other's parts for the first time. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, well, and it's come out with some amazing stuff, and no doubt there's a lot more to come. So I feel like that's going to be very exciting. Like, is that kind of the goal in 2022 at this point for you guys? Like, are you building towards wanting to get that release out sooner rather than later, or are you just like seeing what happens, letting everything settle a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm thinking like James touched on before. We've been a band for a decade at this point, and not many bands of our genre and of our level, I guess, stick around for that long. So I think we're at the point now where we just don't want to leave any stones unturned, and we want to put out as much music as we can and keep that music to the standard, obviously, but just be a little bit more frequent in how often we're putting music out and just trying to, I guess, just not leave anything in the back pocket and just lay it all out there for everyone.
I think as well, like for us, being that it's a kind of a significant year for us internally as a band. So I think this year we really want to put that EP out almost just like as a landmark for ourselves. Like this is our 10 years as a band. This is the flag for the 10-year mark sort of thing. So I think we're really pushing for that to come out this year for sure.
Yeah. Prolific timing in a way. Like don't probably not want to plan it that way.
No.
It's nice to pay homage to it somehow.
Yeah, for sure.
And on that topic, 10 years, you've done so much stuff. Like, I won't sit here and list your repertoire of who you've played with, but like Senses Fail, Every Time I Die, Closer to Home, North Lane, like so many amazing things. Like, what's been a particular highlight for you guys?
Can I take this one?
Go.
Yeah.
So,
you go. We'll go. We'll each do one. You go
so
first.
we, what was it, 28, Stone Sour 2018,
Yes,
I think.
yes.
2018, we were the main support nationally for Stone Sour with obviously the man himself, Corey Taylor. And this is one of those things where you're like, you're obviously like a local, smaller sized band. And the first show that we played was down in Melbourne with those guys. And us five were sitting in our green room, kind of just like shitting bricks, like we're playing with fucking Stone Sour. They're sound checking right now. Sitting there having a beer, whatever, get a knock on the door, look up, Corey Taylor coming in going, hey guys, my name's Corey, like as if we didn't fucking know already. I just really want to thank you guys for being part of the tour. And from that moment, like that tour was just a dream. Like we were hanging out with those guys every night. They taught us so much about playing on the big stage. Like the final show, there's photos of Corey wearing Barebones shirt on the last show. It was just like, you like pinch yourself kind of moment.
Yeah.
You have like Corey Taylor on your wall as a kid. Like we grew up with Slipknot and then you're touring with the bloke. Like
He's wearing your merch.
Wearing your merch. You're like, is this real life? Like he's wearing a Barebones shirt on stage, which for me, that was just like that's my like pinnacle moment, I think, in the last 10 years.
Yeah, for sure. Well, mine, funnily enough, also involves Corey Taylor, but for a different reason. We were really, really fortunate enough to be able to play the last ever Soundwave in ever, I guess, unless it comes back at some other point. And we got the opportunity to open the main stage, which is like literally inside of a stadium, and like it just this massive, daunting structure. And we're playing first and then Slipknot are playing last on that same stage that same day. And it was our first exposure to playing a big show. And I guess having personally gone to every Soundwave festival until that point to be able to play the last one on the final day. And Sydney was the last ever, like it was the last stop as well. So we played the last day of the last ever Soundwave. And it was just mind-blowing at that point, especially. We'd never played bigger show than like maybe 300 people, and then we're playing the main stage of a stadium, a
with
Soundwave,
like Slipknot's backdrop behind you, like curtained off. You're like, holy shit!
Hometown show, full musical moment.
That was
amazing.
mental.
Wow. I mean, I feel like it does, even though it has been 10 years as you come up to it. I feel like there's obviously so much more to come. But like, is there anything as a band you have on the bucket list, like an event or an artist? Like you've ticked off a lot.
Metallica. Like that's for me. Like we've played with some great bands, obviously, like idols of mine. We played with Black Label Society, Zakk Wylde. I still have his signature on the back of the guitar that I use every time we play. But yeah, for me to be Metallica 100%.
Yeah.
Knocking that off would just be like dream.
Yeah, for sure. I think I guess I'll go a little bit different, and I would say that playing a show in another country still seems, I think, like unattainable to us, but obviously it's not. But I think just us four standing on stage in another country looking at each other, like that would just kind of be a like, what the hell moment that, I think would be like the next step for us, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. And I dare say it probably won't be too long now, given
fingers crossed.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think you'll be right. Yeah. But I mean, obviously being Sydney boys, there's a really big community there, but the whole heavy community in general in Australia is something so special. Like, what does it mean for you guys personally, as people who have obviously been immersed in it beyond the 10 years that the band has been?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think both JD and I grew up in the Sydney 100%. Heavy music scene from, I guess, early high school days. And it's, I think we're so proud to be a representative of the Sydney heavy music scene and to be at this point like veterans of it, like I was saying, like 10 years for basically a hardcore band from Sydney is kind of unheard of, unless you're like at the level of Parkway Drive or something. So for us, it's a really big point of pride to have seen so much of how the Sydney scene was to how it is now, and have been there the whole time. It's it's really awesome.
I think as well, like it's really special because in Sydney, like us included, there's this kind of like geographical area where we all came from. Like Thy Art Is Murder came from, like, I'm talking Western Sydney, Thy Art, North Lane, Tonight Alive, us. And so like to be there, as Tom said, from, like prior to Bare Bones, I was in another band and we were playing with Thy Art when they were just tiny little bands. Now to see them like where they're at now, and you're like, hometown pride kind of thing. It's really, this really special moment to see how far some of these bands from like Blacktown and Mount Druitt and stuff have just really gone on.
It's
awesome.
It's so awesome because I don't know, like I think it's pretty well known throughout the country, not just in Sydney, that areas like Blacktown and Mount Druitt aren't known for producing people who make it. You know what I mean? Like these are areas that are can be quite tough to grow up in. And so to see so many musicians thriving on a world scale from this little area of Sydney it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's awesome too to see everyone fostering each other and celebrating it. So it's incredible.
A very
to see.
supportive scene, 100%.
Yeah, well, it's an amazing how far you guys have come in not a short space of time, but obviously it feels pretty quick as you go. But you're here at Moe's, you're absolutely killing it. So bring on the rest of 2022, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having us.
Hey.
Stoked. Thank you.
I'm Tiana, and you have been watching Desert TV.
Yeah.